All right, welcome back. Right here with clickmill.co. In this video, we're going to get into pages and filtering Google Search Console data by pages. Okay, so here we are. All I have to do is click over on the Pages tab, and you will see that we have pages. So you can see these are URLs of actual pages, and you can see this exact page, Bible verses about success. We'll go down to this one because this happens to be the same blog from the query of last one. So you'll see here, when we were over in the queries, we were looking at sermon topics. Well, here's the actual post here, sermon topics. So it's clickmill.co/sermon topics. So this has 58,327 clicks. Why does this have so many clicks? I thought that the query only had 5,000. And that is because this blog ranks for a whole bunch of queries, like hundreds, probably over 1,000 queries, 1,000 keywords. And so when we're looking at impressions and we're looking at data, again, this data can fluctuate. As you can see, clicks, impressions, click-through rate, position. It can fluctuate by page on the website, by blog, or by homepage. And now you'll notice you won't really see any home pages or anything like this because people aren't looking for ClickMill marketing as much as they're looking for answers to their questions. And so we answer their questions with articles, they flow into the articles, and we send them to the service pages and the sales pages and the city pages and the home, whatever it is that they need to go to next. And that's getting into marketing strategy. That's when we're talking about funnels. But you can see that we have a large amount of information for each page to diagnose individual issues. Okay, so for example, on the pages, I always start click-through rate. I don't really care if this has 77,000 clicks and this has 5,000. There's just more searches for stuff. So this has 1 million impressions and this has 100,000. So I would expect this to be a lot lower. And so the number of clicks isn't really a good indicator of success. The indicators of success here are usually click-through rate. Well, this has a 7% click-through rate and this has a 4% click-through rate. Which one should I probably go in and try to optimize? When we're talking about optimizing, the more fine-tuned something is, the easier it is to break. So, for example, this has a 10% click-through rate, which is really good. Okay. And what's a good click-through rate? We'll probably get more into this later. On Google Search Console, if you're between 2 and 3%, that's acceptable. If you're above that, you're doing good. If you're at 5%, that's good. If you're at 7%, that's really good. And if you're at, 10 to 20%, maybe what we would call a unicorn, it just doesn't exist. Okay, that's not my term. I didn't make that up. That's an actual marketing phrase. Marketers, you'll hear them use. It was a unicorn, So here, 10%, that's really good. If I go and I edit that, the likelihood it goes up is very low. And I edit the, let's say, meta title and meta description to try to get more intrigue on that page, the likelihood it goes down is much higher. So I have to be very careful editing the very fine-tuned pages. But for example, a 4% by comparison to these other pages is pretty low. That may actually still be really high because remember, I told you when we started this 2 years ago, our average click-through rate was 0.4%. So if I open this up and look at all these other pages, you'll notice there's a 3, 2.1, that right there, great candidate for optimization. Okay. And notice if I can get that 2.1 up to 4 with the other ones, we'll go up 3,000 clicks. So easy. That's easy pickings right there for SEO optimization. Okay. 2.6, we can go after that. Okay. So this is the page breakdown, and this can help you to isolate problems or things that are working so that you can reverse engineer why that's working and take it over to other pages. So as an example, if I wanted to know that, this page right here, what is this? Okay, this is a blog called Men's Ministry Ideas, 10% click-through rate. We're crushing it. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to open this in a new tab. And we're going to see, oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to see it in the Google search results. I'm just going to copy the URL. And here's the way you can do this. If you actually want to see this, you go site, type in the word site, and then paste in the search results. And so you'll see here, 20 men's ministry ideas. Well, how is this formatted? We can start to look at the meta title. We can start to look at the meta description because people are clicking on it at 10%, 1 out of 10 people. That's really good. Okay. Now, Okay, so I can kind of see how I've formatted it. Let's see how other people are formatting it. Men's ministry ideas. Let's look that up. Now, first thing you'll notice, here's one reason why we're showing up is because we have the featured snippet. This is called a featured snippet. We have the featured image. And what do we have here? ClickMill. Okay, so one of the reasons we have such a high click-through rate is because we show up number one. Okay, so that's number one. Furthermore, let's look here. These people just have a sentence about 25 for building relationships and discipleship. So they're just kind of saying a lot of things. They do then go into like game night, cinematic connections, discover fresh and engaging men's ministry. Okay, so these people are using sentences and they're trying to appeal. What they're not realizing, though, is that people on the internet have the attention span of a guppy. And what actually works is something more like this, where we have just basically the table of contents. Now, this doesn't work for every site, but this does work for the type of articles that we usually use. And that is what we do for many of our articles. And that's one of the reasons we rank so high. Now, in this case, it's the article quality that's bringing us up to this first position. Okay, now it says we average rank 11. This is because this doesn't even count as ranking number one. Okay, that is just the featured snippet. And if you scroll down and, oh, wow, there's actually a page 2 of Google still. Okay, I thought it just ever scrolled. We scroll down, somewhere down there, you'll find us. So we're 11. We should be actually right here. But again, it shifts around with every search now. So average position, we should be first rank on page 2. But either way, so coming back over to what we're looking at here, why do we have such a great click-through rate? Because we're just showing up in the featured snippet. Okay, well, how do I get in the featured snippet? Let's go look at that article and let's figure out what we did in there that got us in that featured snippet. And if we can do that on every article, what are we going to do? We have an average click-through rate of about 5%. We're going to double our traffic. So that's going to double our business. All right, now, is that realistic? Do I really think we're going to get in every featured snippet? Maybe, but probably not. Okay, so in this video, we're looking at pages. Now, I do want to also show you something else that I forgot to mention in the queries. And so this is true for pages and queries. If I want to further refine the data and figure out like, well, what's working keyword-wise, query-wise in this page? Well, watch this. I'm going to click on the actual page. So we'll just follow with the same article we've been looking at, sermon topics. And I come in here and now, whoa, this data looks totally different. Why does this data look so different? Well, it's because now we are only looking at the one page, this one article. And now we're looking at the data for that. So you'll notice this article is very consistent. And you'll notice all these spikes. And we can start to learn all kinds of things about our audience and about our website. You'll notice that big dip on the main average page over there. Look at that. You want to know why that dip happened? This article totally got cut out of the website there. And I can show you exactly the reason it happened because other data will show this as well. Well, what is this article about? It's about sermon topics. What are all these spikes? What are all these spikes? Let's see. What day is that? Oh, it's a Saturday. What's this spike? Hold on. Saturday. And what's this spike? Wait for it. Saturday. How many of those do you think are Saturdays? How about 100% of those? What does that tell you? Well, Pastor David is going into church on a Saturday to plan a sermon. Okay, can that tell us about our audience? Can that tell us about further marketing strategies that we can be developing, knowing the schedule of Pastor David? And again, this is a site for ministry leaders. Okay, so another thing here, you'll notice we had a pretty significant drop in traffic here. Well, why is that? Well, we had some shifting around due to some updates in the algorithm. And we got a drop here because we do have some AI content in this. We do have a lot of custom content in this as well, but we did get a little bit of a dip. And so maybe finding ways to address that. You'll also notice the click-through rate where maybe we were averaging around 7, we'll call it 8%. Now we're down to closer to like 5%. Okay, so on this individual article, overall, 6.6%. Now, I want to show you, because this is the most important thing, I think, is you can then filter further on only this page. So if I want to see the countries this page ranks for, let's look. Nigeria. So usually in the United States, we're going to get most of our traffic from the United States, but apparently we have a lot of ministry leaders in Nigeria reading this specifically, and then the United States, and then the Philippines. So that's very interesting. We come over to queries. It's going to filter down, not the queries for the whole site, but only the ones that rank for this blog. So, Bible topics for preaching. I don't even think that's on the article, but Google really likes the article for that. So you can come down, you'll see we have over 1,000 keywords for this blog. So be aware when you write an article, when your team writes an article and you use an LSI keyword, you use a secondary keyword, and you got a couple on there. I mean, be aware, Google doesn't just rank you for those keywords. Google can rank you for 1,000 keywords. And I think it caps at 1,000 and it stops reporting. Now, are you going to get clicks on all of those? No, of course not. And we'll just see how far do the clicks go. Okay, so this is a listing of 500 keywords of the 1,000, and you'll see pretty much maybe a little over half are actually going to have clicks. I mean, maybe a little more, but we're at 500 and we have 4 clicks on each of those. Okay, so these are, and now we're looking at other stuff. There we go. Let's get out of there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove these pages because I don't know what that was. But we can filter by individual page and then filter further by all of those. We can also go into queries. And let's say I really want to know which blog I'm getting oh my gosh, I'm getting almost 6,000 clicks on this keyword. I didn't even know I was targeting that keyword. Surprise. What article is that coming in through? What page? Well, let's look. And I'm going to go over it now. I've isolated the query. So you'll see the queries up here. Let's go to pages and see where that's coming in for. Maybe it's a bunch of blogs. Maybe it's only one blog. And what you'll see here is basically it's all coming in for the Sermon Topics blog, which we've already seen. And that blog is broken down into multiple sections because of the header twos. Okay. And for whatever reason, we rank for all of those. So Google can actually send people to a section of the article that is appropriate for them. Okay. So, but it is the one blog that is being shown for every single one of those. And that's good because we don't want to show for 5 blogs for, the same keyword. We don't want to try to rank against ourselves. We just want to get the keyword with one article. So that's what we've done. That looks really good. And so you can subdivide these in any and all these. You want to see how you're ranking for a specific blog in a specific country. We'll go to United States and then we'll go over to pages and we'll see, how these rank in the United States, and the rank order might be different. So you can subdivide those and really get deep into the data that way. All right, so in the next video, we're going to go over countries and then devices after that. We'll see you there.